If you've ever listened to Bonobo's music before, you'll know there's something about his drums that just feels different. They're less robotic, they're more organic. What's the secret? In this video, I'll show you how Bonobo creates that signature feel and how you can recreate it in Ableton Live. Bonobo's drum programming is anything but standard. In electronic dance music, you usually have loops that have equal lengths, which keep all the loops repetitions exactly the same. Now this can get quite boring after time, and Bonobo breaks that pattern. How? Well, I'll let him explain.
I'll try not to loop everything in fours. So I'll have like the hi-hats will be a sequence of it might be like 5 notes or a bar and a half. And then the snares will repeat in 3s. So everything is every hit is slightly different. So, you know, you get a full sequence of like 16 bars before anything is exactly the same. Even though it's very subtle, it kind of makes it feel a little looser, and that you're not really getting that repetition as much because things aren't hitting in exactly the same place each time.
So that's the secret. Every loop is slightly different length. Cool, hey? So let's jump into Ableton Live and see how we can recreate it. So I have a session here in Ableton Live. On the top scene, I have the boring scene. This is the one where everything's kind of in 4. So here's the kick. If we look inside, 4 to the floor. So let's bring that in. Now bring the snare in. So it's always going to be the same every repetition. So by the second time we've heard it, we've kind of guessed what's happening. Third time, fourth time, we start losing interest. Let's hit the next one. So I have a hi-hat pattern with a few variations here. Again, it's a 4-bar pattern. It's going to get quite samey quite quickly. Last one here, I have an extra snare. It's always going to happen at the same point. And then let's bring in my bass. Okay, so getting quite boring quite quickly. So now let's look at how I spice that up. So the kick is still 4/4, pretty standard. Now, if I go in here, I put the snare drum to be on a 3-bar loop. Now, the reason why I didn't do any odd bar times is because I always want the snare to fall on that 2. But then by making it 3, these variations here and here are going to happen at different points in the repetition. It's not always going to be the same point. Then the next one here, I did this for 5.5 bars. So this is the hi-hats with the variations. And we have some velocity variations in here as well. So that's going to add to that organic feel. Then the last one here is we have these kind of ghost note snares. And I put that to 7 bars. So you're going to get the variations all happening at different points. So let's hear all of that together. So this is going to feel the same. It's going to start feeling different now. I want to add one more layer in. Just as Bonobo said, he had a hi-hat that was only 5 notes long.
So I'll have like the hi-hats will be a sequence of it might be like 5 notes.
So we'll look at how that looks. And also there's a little cheeky little extra bit of sauce we can put on in Ableton Live Simpler that will really spice this up. So let's have a little look at how we do that. So I'm going to drag in a Simpler, and then I'm going to get a hi-hat sample here. I have one here, quite a nice organic hi-hat sound, and drag it into the Simpler. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to program in straight 8th notes, okay? I'm just going to duplicate across the page, holding Command D. So let's hear that. Rubbish, right? Okay, so now let's first mix up the velocity. So I'm going to press Command A to select all. I'm going to press Randomize. Okay, so then we've got some random velocities going on. Already loads better. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this 5 notes long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go there. That's my loop. So now we're going to hear the variation in the velocities. The pattern is the same. This is where it gets really interesting because we can go into Simpler and we can adjust a couple of things. I'm just going to adjust this one here. I just want to show you why now. So I go into the Simpler I'm going to play around with attack and decay. I want to roll a bit of the attack off, sustain down, make it a bit shorter. Cool. Now there's this little tab here that not many people open up. There's some really nice things that can happen in here. One of them being velocity to volume. So this is at 35%. So now if I crank this up, every time there's a higher velocity, it's going to make it louder, essentially. So this is going to add to the groove. So I'm going to go up double the amount. It's probably a bit too much. And we can do the same to the filter here. So I'm going to filter this down a little bit and put the velocity. Nice, hey? Wow, that's really cool. Make it a bit shorter. Let's pull it down in volume a little bit. Bit of reverb, bit of delay, why not? So cool, right? So that's it. It's that simple. It really is about experimenting with different lengths. And the technique we're using here is called polyrhythms. This is where two or more different rhythms cycle round together. It's common in African drumming, world music, and jazz as well. But it's really cool how Bonobo applies this technique to electronic music. Experiment with this by using different clip lengths, adding swung or ghost note elements. And if you want to go a step further, add this velocity to volume in the simpler, and even add a dash of Ableton's groove. If you found this video useful, you'll really enjoy my breakdown of how Forte uses Ableton to create and find amazing samples, again, with one simple, easy trick. You can watch that here. See you in the next one. Bye for now.